Hi, folks. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Judy Lynn. Welcome. Today, you are listening to inspired and practical conversations for the budding entrepreneur.
Today, we're going to talk about limiting beliefs, which is something that a lot of entrepreneurs run up against just like a brick wall. It can be very difficult.
It can be. Tell them why, Kimberly. Why is it difficult?
So sometimes we have, as an entrepreneur, we have this status that we need to keep where we have to show the world and our family and friends that as an entrepreneur, we have no cracks, no problems, no issues, nothing that's going to take us down at all. We have to have confidence in ourselves and our abilities and be able to really believe that we can do anything. But somehow deep down inside, we still have our own little doubts. Am I really even going to be able to make a go of this? Am I going to ever see 6 or 7 or 8 figures in this business? Am I going to have to quit and get a real job again?
I love that one. Yeah. And you know what these limiting beliefs cause? We don't even know we have them sometimes because we struggle against them and we do the action that we think we should do, or at least we try to. We put it on our calendar. But what it causes is procrastination, distraction, all kinds of things. When there's a belief that's in direct contrast to what we want to believe about ourselves, that can really cause some limitations in what we actually get done every day.
Absolutely. Procrastination can be just a road hazard in the road to joy as an entrepreneur. There's a lot of things that we are running up against, and it's really hard when we're running up against ourselves and our own beliefs. So sometimes those limiting beliefs just come out of nowhere, and you think, I'm going to make a go of it, and it's going to be fine. And suddenly something happens. Like, I don't know what's happened to you, Judy, but I've had clients call and say, "Hey, great job. It was fun working with you and all, but we're going to put everything on hold for another 6 months. And then we'll catch you then."
Yeah. And why do you think that is? Because even though you're saying, I can do this, I'm going to make all this money this year, 6 figures, 6 figures, 8 figures, whatever it is. And then you proceed to go forward with a belief that, I don't know if I can do it. It goes more than just than doubting yourself. And actually, there's a money ceiling. There's a belief of how much money you can actually earn. And that belief comes from when you're like 5, 6 years old. It comes before the age of 6, they say. Wow. And that belief is run in your subconscious. But tell us some more of what can happen when you're running them with that belief. And I know, Kimberly, you have some really good practical ways that people can begin to make that shift from some of the things they may say to themselves in their limitations, like, I could never earn 6 figures doing what I do. A lot of people have a belief that I can't make 6 figures or 8 figures being a coach or doing what I'm doing or doing what I love. So give us some practical ways that they can begin to make that shift in what they believe and what they're telling themselves.
Absolutely. So the good news and the bad news are the same news. Sometimes that happens in life. The bad news is that the things that are enforcing and reinforcing and reinforcing your limiting beliefs is evidence, right? As soon as you say, I'm not sure I can make 6 figures, then you start gathering evidence of things that are occurring in your life to prove that belief. So once you've established the belief, then you start gathering this evidence. And what that is just paying attention to the things that really prove that to be true. So if you lose a client, or you have a failure of a product launch, or you think something's going to be a really big hit and it just turns into a flop, and all of those things gather together to support your belief that you can't really make it. The good news is that evidence also supports your belief if it's a positive, unlimited belief. So as soon as you have that, realize that you have that negative belief and that limiting belief, like, I'm not really sure I can even do this, the next step practically is to write on a piece of paper the exact opposite of that belief. And when you write it out on a piece of paper, that's a kinesthetic learning, and your body is attaching to it through your body motion of actually writing it out. And then you might put it on the wall where you can see it and visualize it. And then you might read it out loud, so auditorily you can hear it. And then the the remedy for that is actually to start gathering evidence to prove that that's true. And as soon as you have that unlimited belief, then you can start really looking for evidence to prove it's true. And every time you get an unexpected phone call or an order sort of out of the blue, or an opportunity that came your way that you really weren't expecting, or a sales call that went really, really well, those are then evidence to support your belief that you really can do it, that you really are going to make it, and that you really are going to be able to have this as your full-time career and be able to support your family with it without getting a real job again.
That's right. And I think some of the, when we gather that evidence and we really consciously put that evidence on the right side of our board, of our vision board, if you will, because we can look at the limiting beliefs as one side of the vision board and the positive beliefs as the other, right? So when we're putting that evidence on the other side of the board to support that positive statement that we're telling ourselves, that new statement, that you have to consciously do it, because we're already trained to pay more attention for some reason to all of the negative stuff that comes our way. We're not real good at gathering the positive evidence, And one of the things, Kimberly, that I'd love to share here, and this is so exciting for me, because what happens to us when we start saying affirmations, and we start changing the way, we know that what we're saying, thinking, and then therefore doing is not what we want. It's the opposite of what we want. So we want to change it. So we're doing what you're telling us to do, which is awesome, which is saying the affirmations or changing the things that we say to ourselves, like, I really can make 6 figures. I really can have a successful business. There's something that happens inside of us. We feel this kind of crunchy thing. It's not this open, free, yeah, I really can, excited anticipation thing that happens. There's like a crunch in us. And the reason that happens, and the reason it's so hard to make that shift into that new belief, is because our subconscious is not in alignment with what our conscious wants to have happen and wants to believe. Our subconscious has been holding on to this old belief for so long that we actually have a neural pathway in our brain that's very thick, because it's run with this belief over and over again. So what we need to do is to somehow be able to create a new neural pathway with the new belief. So, and the more we do it, it gets thicker and thicker, and the old one just kind of dissipates and gets smaller until that new belief becomes second nature. But the way to do that
Absolutely. And this is real. There's science behind this. And what you're talking about, Judy, is that pathway that supports the neural connections is
Yes.
like an insulation that wraps around it to reinforce it and strengthen it. So whatever we are believing and we gather evidence for, we're reinforcing and adding insulation and supporting and encouraging and building up that belief. We just get to choose which belief we hold.
And that's a powerful thing right there that you just said, Kimberly. Choice. Choice is everything. Okay, I'm going to choose this belief. And now we can take any method that helps us quickly change that subconscious belief, because all a belief really is a thought that we thought over and over and over again. So to change it quickly, one of my favorite modalities, of course, is EFT tapping, because it speaks directly to the body, and it speaks directly to the brain, actually, and helps break that belief and say, oh yeah, I'm more open now to believing something different. And it helps it happen a lot quicker. Some people use meditation, some people use yoga, anything that helps them really get into that openness of at least letting go of the doubt or that old belief, so that they're open to the new one. And one of the most exciting things that happens when you start moving into this is your whole energy changes. And then the energy that goes out will begin to actually attract more evidence to support that new belief. The reason you're attracting the old beliefs evidence right now is because that belief's there. It's kind of like, what comes first, chicken or the egg? It's the belief or the egg.
Like that. It's a lot like that. So as soon as you decide that it could be the chicken or the egg, then you just decide, okay, well, I'm going to have a whole new chicken, or is it a whole new egg? Whichever it is. But you decide, that you're going to have this whole other thing. And as soon as you have that, then the evidence can support it. Or if you start gathering evidence to believe the positive influence, the positive unlimited belief, then you can re-support and reinforce that instead of the others. Just like Judy said, it's a choice.
It is a choice. And here's one more important point, you guys. When you have a belief, what is answered isn't your words. Your words are not answered. Your emotion is answered. Your feelings, the energy is answered. So if you're saying one thing and you're feeling another, that other feeling that you're having right there is going to be answered, not what you're saying. So it's really important to get these two things in line and be in alignment with your subconscious belief, lining up with that new belief, and using whatever technique is most comfortable for you to get there. Hypnosis is another way that a lot of people use. Right?
So you mentioned EFT and also hypnosis, but some folks may need external reinforcement as well, and that may be getting an accountability buddy or a mentor or a guide or somebody to be able to help them from the external source keep their focus on their eyes on the prize, or their focus on that positive, uplifting belief. So if they don't already have a mentor or a guide or somebody that can help them, maybe that is one additional resource if it's not, or alternatively EFT or hypnosis could work as well.
Absolutely. There's so many different resources out there for you to grab onto as an entrepreneur and really make this happen, but really understanding that you have the power to change what you believe, and you really can make 6 figures, 8 figures, 12, what do you say, Kimberly? 12 figures?
Out there, it's out there to be wished for and out there to be achieved.
It is. If you can think it and you can dream it and you can see it, you're going to
believe it. And if you can believe it, then it can be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, folks, this has been Kimberly and Judy, and we have a show that is inspired and practical conversations for the budding entrepreneur.
And we're going to see you again in our next show. Thank you. Take care.
Cheers.